Silence, infidel! You guys love them, so I keep doing them. Epic ad fails part 3. This doesn't really have an introduction, I'm afraid, other than this introduction I'm giving it right now, because this was originally a very long one written by Danny, who writes our scripts here on Business Blaze, and I decided to split it in two because I like occasionally sitting down and my legs get tired. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Well, before we do, what is not an epic ad fail is the fact that this video is sponsored by Skillshare, and there is no way that I can bring up the Skillshare ad copy in time, and I will have to do a cut here unless I can absolutely wizard this thing, and here we go. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community for who? It's for creators. There's thousands of classes in design, business. What? That's appropriate because this is Business Blaze. Skillshare is giving away 2 months of premium membership to help you explore your creativity and business. If you click the link in the description below, that's for the first 500 people only. More on them in a bit. I always wonder with that, is 500 ambitious? Business Blaze isn't, it's not PewDiePie yet, is it? Yet. But, I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying this, don't delay. Click that link below, sign up with Skillshare. I got more to say on them in a bit about why you should actually sign up, other than it being pretty good. Let's just jump in. I don't know what that was. It's my excitement for ads. And now, with the good stuff out of the way, let's get into the f***ups. Pensioners flailing helplessly around on the floor. I bet Skillshare could help with that. It's usually every marketer's dream to come up with a catchy slogan that really starts to fly. But in the case of TV commercials for protection company Lifecool, it was an accident that was never really meant to happen. Because the catchphrase on every daytime viewer's lips in the... I have to say, I'm feeling a little bit tired today. I'm not really sure why. I didn't sleep brilliantly last night. I don't know if this will be funny. Normally I record Business Blaze first thing in the morning because it's when my energy is absolutely top-notch. But right now I'm a little bit down, so I just did 17 lines of cocaine and I've got this coffee with 6 spoons of Nescafe in it. Allegedly. I mean, to the cocaine, this has a lot of Nescafe in it. Now it's still super hot as well. Because the catchphrase, what are we talking about? Pensioners on the floor, something like that, Skillshare? Because the catchphrase was on every daytime viewer's lips in the late 1980s and early 1990s, related to an elderly actor lady lying in a heap on the floor and claiming with very little conviction, "I've fallen and I can't get up." Lifecool was a subscription-based medical alarm and protection company serving senior citizens and vulnerable people. Subscribers received a cool electronic pendant. I have to say, I kind of vaguely remember this, which was meant to be worn around the neck at all times. If they ever found themselves in serious difficulty, then they could activate the pendant and talk directly to medical services or family without the need to try and drag themselves to the nearest telephone. This actually sounds pretty good. That sounds like a clever invention. If I was old, this is what I would get. So, it was obviously very handy in the pre-mobile phone era for older people living alone who might say have taken a tumble down the stairs, got stuck in the bath, or accidentally set fire to the conservatory. These are all like maximum old people activities. I just think of my nan and it's like, yeah, she definitely fell down the stairs once. I don't know if she got stuck in the bath. I can imagine it. And she didn't set fire to the conservatory, which she did, but she did have a conservatory and she had it built onto her house. And it is just the most old people person thing ever. And she just used to sit up there in the sun. It was quite nice, but maximum level old people. I'd go round and we'd sit in the conservatory together. It was nice. Now I'm all sad because she died recently. Oh! So of course the idea was very simple and very useful. But the execution of the television commercials was, this Business Blaze got so sad. Come on, Simon. Get on with it. Of course, the idea was very simple and very useful, but the execution of the television commercials was absolutely bloody terrible and became unintentional comedy gold. These were daytime TV ads because older people obviously go to bed at around 5 p.m. I have to say, I recently had a kid, and it's like now, I mean, it's not 5 p.m., but it's June. I go to bed at 9 p.m., it is still light. I wake up at 5 a.m., it is still light. I rarely see the dark these days.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
So the budget and scope were understandably quite modest, but it seems as if they went out of their way to hire the campest and cheeriest and hammiest elderly actors to illustrate the ways in which Lifecore could help save the day. And although it may not seem appropriate to start sniggering loudly at the sight of an old man clutching his chest and dramatically announcing, "I'm having chest pains," or old ladies in a crumpled heap on the floor declaring, "I've fallen and can't get up," that's exactly how a big chunk of the audience reacted. The last catchphrase ended up becoming the punchline of TV gags across America, and also cropped up on t-shirts, mugs, and even in the lyrics of a Weird Al Yankovic song. But it has to be said that Lifecore saw the funny side and later took advantage of what could have been just a cringeworthy marketing embarrassment. Yeah, you gotta own it, you know? If you do something like that and it becomes a meme, it's just own it. I realized that early on business plays, and indeed business plays today, is very upbeat. It's unnecessarily upbeat, and people were like, "Well, I'm just Simon, is he on cocaine?" And I could be like, "No, I'm not on cocaine," but instead I'm like, "Yeah, I am, right? Even though I am." They went on to successfully register "I've fallen and can't get up" as an official trademark. Good for them. Sadly, it didn't do them any good whatsoever as they went out of business the following year. Oh, that's a shame. Lifecore had fallen and they weren't getting up. Ba-da-bum-bum. Help, I've fallen, I can't get up. I actually hurt my wrists. I'm such an old man. Grow some bollocks. Oh, good news everybody. For those regular Business Plays watchers, my boiler has been fixed. It is toasty in here. But my problem is now, I don't have anywhere to rest my leg. Because I know, I'd like to talk to horses. I could kind of rest it on the desk that I have here, but this just feels a bit wrong. I could bring in this chair. What do you think? I mean, but then I got this cushion. That's quite good. That's quite good. Let me try it. Let me see how it works out. Grow some bollocks. I'm pretty sure that even Simon has heard of the American actor, bodyguard, television personality, and singer and retired professional wrestler, Mr. T. I absolutely have, Danny. His heyday was in the 1980s where he starred in Rocky III, haven't seen that, and perhaps most famously of all spent 5 years in the role of B.A. Baracus in the surprisingly violent TV action series The A-Team, gifting the world with such memorable phrases as, "I pity the fool, quit your jibber jabber, I ain't getting in no airplane." I've never seen it, but I do know those memes. I'm gonna put that away. By the itty, it's not working out. I'm tempted to bring back my radiator. Check this out. We had so many good times together, me and ETA. That's a strange name for a heater. You can see where it's got all scuff marks on from where I would put my shoe on it. These screws are worryingly loose in the bottom. I once was, this is a fun fact, I was once clipping my nails while huddled over this thing, dropped one of them in there, and it started to smell like burning human flesh. Oh, the good times, ETA, good times. Nah, I'm just joking. I wouldn't do that to you, ETA. Would I? No, I love you. God, Business Plays did get weird, didn't it? Getting tangled up in my mic wire. By the year 2007, things had dried up a little bit for Mr. T, but he was soon set to deliver a new catchy slogan in a series of TV commercials in the UK for nutty chocolate bar Snickers. The slogan was quite simple: get some nuts. Okay, that seems fine, but the storyline driving the big budget commercials was strangely aggressive. In one advert in particular, it begins with a peaceful scene of a very effeminate man in tight, bright yellow shorts indulging in a spot of very camp speed walking down a typical suburban street. Suddenly, a massive truck randomly smashes its way out of a nearby garage, ripping the whole thing to bits. Ripping what to bits? The poor man? Oh no, the garage. Okay, yeah, that would get extremely violent quickly. The truck had an enraged Mr. T at the wheel, who began yelling, "Speed walking! I pity you, fool! You are a disgrace to the man race! It's time to run like a real man." Wow, Mr. T. I mean, a bit of a dick move. At this point, he gets behind a Gatling gun, holy shit, and starts shooting a rapid succession of Snickers bars at the frightened speedwalker, who's eventually forced to break into a run and get away from the madman. But whoever made this advert doesn't understand how bullets work. If you can hear that knocking, construction is still going on next door. I mentioned this in the last video. It sometimes sounds that they are literally trying to tunnel into my office. I'm just going to continue because I needed to record this for Skillshare, because otherwise I'll miss the deadline and won't get paid. So deal with it. At this point, I should do the Skillshare read. Let me just finish this section. Shall I finish this section? No, it's too long. We're doing the Skillshare read now. Oh my god, Skillshare, Skillshare, Skillshare. Unlike some websites, you don't have to pay for individual classes with a premium membership from Skillshare. And look, you're watching Business Place, you're a premium person. You deserve Skillshare. It is your right to pay for and then access Skillshare. Ooh, although you can get 2 months premium for free. Stay listening to this ad read for that. It's pretty nice. The unlimited access is pretty nice. Now, I'm someone who will just, and I actually wrote this. This isn't actually their direct ad copy. This is my ad copy from the other channels, and I'm just kind of riffing off it today. I do just jump into classes. So if I want to learn something, I'll be like, yeah, I really want to know this specific thing. And, you know, with other, platforms like what you have to do is you have to buy the whole thing, which kind of sucks. But with Skillshare, none of that bull. What have I taken? Oh yeah, okay, I took this productivity class from Alexandra Samuel, and I'm a pretty productive person, so honestly I watch it, and I'm like, yeah, I know that, but as with anything, like, I read books on productivity, I take Skillshare classes because I'm like, cool, I'll implement that, and it just makes me more and more productive. If you want an example of my productivity, try running 8 YouTube channels. Thank you, Alexandra Samuel, you legends. Or just generally building good habits with Thomas Frank, who's a YouTuber, by the way. He's pretty great. And his course on building good habits is also, well, it's pretty great. It's worth checking out for sure, which you can do for free for 2 months. Anyway, join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare. Skillshare is giving away 2 months of premium membership to help you explore your creativity. Just click the link in the description box below. First 500 people only. After that, it's super affordable, only around $10 a month. I'm pretty sure that's if you get the whole year. It's a little bit more if you don't. But I mean, it'll maybe be like $1 or $2 more. It's not that much. It's not that much. It's worth doing. Skillshare is giving away 2 months of premium membership. Oh my god, how many times have I said that? It helps you explore your creativity. I've also said that a million times. Yeah, let's just get back to the video because honestly, the thing with Skillshare is it's really good. They give me all these specific ad points, and Skillshare are quite strict about sticking to the ad points. But it's also one of the ones that I find like most genuine. Like, I like the game ones and everything. But it's like Skillshare's like, it more vibes with me as someone who likes improving myself rather than just playing. I like both. From Simon, like off the ad script, it's good, and I think if you try the 2 months, you'll see that. Let's get back to it because we were right in the middle of probably a sentence. The advert concludes with Mr. T taking a bite out of a Snickers bar and screaming at the audience, "Get some nuts!" All caps and bold. He must really be screaming. This actually proved to create a bigger storm in the US than it did in the UK, which is a bit odd as it was never shown in the US. The US lobby group Human Rights Campaign, oh fuck off, protested the ad was blatantly homophobic and called for it to be axed. It's not homophobic, is it? The guy was camp, not necessarily gay. Speed walking, I think, isn't, whatever. If you want to get into speed walking, who cares? And anyone can wear tight shorts. I, in fact, would rather wear tight shorts than baggy shorts because baggy shorts make you look like an idiot. Although you don't want to go too tight. How about Human Rights Campaign? Your focus, or maybe it is, and maybe people are like, Simon, you're being homophobic. And I'm like, no. There are real homophobic things, which are a real issue, and I think it'd be better if Human Rights Campaign actually focused on those instead, because we don't live in a perfect society. They said that the manufacturer Mars was condoning the notion that the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community is a bunch of second-class citizens, and that violence against LGBT people was not only acceptable, but humorous. No. Mars did eventually apologize and pulled the ad, even though it only generated a total of 2 complaints in the UK. Some members of the UK gay community actually criticized the decision to pull the ad. Yes! With one social media user commenting, "I'm gay and I found the ad hilarious." If you make the connection between speed walking and homosexuality, then you're just perpetrating the stereotypes about gay men. Thank you very much. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah, also, maybe it's also I'm from the UK and we're just less sensitive to this. Also, don't get involved, Americans. It doesn't involve you. Why do you have to do this? It's like, complain about our ads, invade countries with loads of oil. Is it really necessary? Smash that dislike button. Okay. Another critic said, "Why do Americans feel the need to complain about what's on TV on this side of the pond?" Danny and I, same page, and also this critic. Whatever way you look at it, I can't help thinking there was something slightly disturbing about it. You hear that? You hear that? They're tunneling in. They're literally tunneling in. They probably can hear me screaming and shouting, and they're probably like, what the is going on in there. Whichever way you look at it, I can't help thinking there was something slightly disturbing about a TV icon screaming and shouting at a clearly very camp speedwalker while suggesting that he gets some nuts and becomes a real man. Yeah, it's truly bizarre, but I don't think it's homophobic. And it also seemed quite a brutal change of direction for Mr. T. Just a couple of decades earlier, he was releasing motivational albums and videos for children in which he could be seen singing and dancing along to such golden greats as "Don't talk to strangers" and "Treat your mother right." Wow. And I still remember many of those inspiring lyrics even today. Mother, There is no other like mother, so treat her right. Mother, I'll always love her, my mother, so treat her right. And that is the last time I will ever sing on Business Place. I've never heard this song, and I don't imagine that's how Mr. T sung it.
I pity the fool.
I bet he just told his poor dad to grow a f***ing pair. Ba-da-bum-bum, tsh. I would do it more aggressively, but I'm holding my 3 Wolf mug with coffee in it. It is insanely strong, but I feel it infusing me with power. With blaze. Don't do F-deaf tweeting. It must be particularly painful when a company like Mars... Hello? It must be particularly painful when a company like Mars has to pull a pretty expensive TV commercial from the airwaves after investing so much time and money in its development. That scene of the truck smashing out of the garage looked like it cost a fair bit to produce. And then, of course, they probably had to pay Mr. T about $50 on top of that. But sometimes a marketing fail can be relatively quick, free, and spontaneous, such as a woefully misjudged tweet or two. Have we covered that time that reporter went to Africa? She got on a plane and she was like, going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. And she landed and she was like fully cancelled. It was like, that was an error. Also, one of these days, I'm definitely gonna upload a Business Blaze, and I will have said something that, oh my gosh. I will have said something that people find horribly offensive, and I'll get cancelled. The good news is, it doesn't really do anything, because, you know, you can't cancel me. I mean, YouTube could cancel me, but I think it's really unlikely. I mean, I'm not Alex Jones. Back in 2011, the Egyptian revolution was gathering momentum. The historic uprising would see millions of citizens protesting on the streets, 846 deaths and over 6,000 injured. American fashion and clothing designer Kenneth Cole decided to seize this opportunity to flog this season's exciting new garments. He posted this jolly tweet. Millions are in uproar in Cairo. Rumor is that they heard our new spring collection is available online. That is, how did Danny describe it? Tone deaf? Fully agree. Following a Twitter-style version of an uproar in response to the whole inappropriate tweet, the company was quick to delete the post and apologize. Am I gonna have to stop because of this sound? What are you doing? It sounds like you're scraping the wall down. It's really loud to me. Maybe the mic's not picking it up too much. Well, at least they learned their lesson. Or maybe not. Just a couple of years later, the US was debating the possibility. Oops, a daisy. I'm struggling over ETA's cable. Just a couple of years later, the US was debating the possibility of putting boots on the ground to intervene in the escalating human horror of the Syrian civil war. Does the US do boots on the ground anymore? I just thought they just drone striked people. Kenneth Cole had the wise words to throw into the intense debate via Twitter. Bad idea, Cole. Boots on the ground or not, let's not forget about sandals, pumps, and loafers. #footwear. #cancel Sony. The company was less apologetic about this one. Probably should have apologized, as Kenneth Cole himself defended his right to market his brand in provocative ways, and rather lamely claims that he was using his platform to start up meaningful dialogues. No, you weren't, Kenneth. You were just trying to sell some shoes. I don't know if they're shitty. I've never heard of Kenneth Cole. I assume I will never buy their Although then I bought Hugo Boss gloves by accident and found out that Hugo Boss made Nazis or something. One Twitter user simply replied, "Is there no horrible situation Kenneth Cole won't use to promote his clothing?" Allegedly. I didn't say that. I didn't say they got clothing. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, maybe it's brilliant, or maybe it's crap. Maybe it's total shit. Look at all this money we're giving you. Unless I missed something monumental in my years writing marketing copy, I always thought it was one of the... Bro. Come on. Unless I missed something monumental in my years writing marketing copy, I always thought that one of the key features of a strong marketing campaign was to try and say something good about the product or service you're meant to be selling. Hell yeah, Skillshare, yo! That was smooth. So a 2015 billboard campaign run by Airbnb on the streets of San Francisco appeared to miss the mark completely. The posters seemed to be offering helpful suggestions on how the city should be spending the enormous amount of taxes that Airbnb was generously furnishing it with. The short-term letting site had gotten away with not having to pay the standard hotel tax in San Francisco, and it's estimated that the city lost around $25 million from this tax avoidance. But this had come to an end earlier in the year when the company reluctantly agreed to pay several $1 million of back taxes. I like it they reluctantly agreed to pay their taxes. It's like, as far as I know, I can't just reluctantly agree. Dude! As far as I know, I just can't reluctantly agree to pay my taxes. They were now facing a proposed motion that would place tighter restrictions on Airbnb rentals, which the company argued would only reduce the levels of hotel tax that they could potentially generate for the lucky citizens of San Francisco. To be fair, they were probably right. When the new regulations were finally introduced in San Francisco, the number of Airbnb listings in the city was slashed in half overnight. But during the run-up to this new motion, the company produced a condescending series of adverts on billboards and bus shelters around the city outlining how much they paid and what the city could do with it. The opening advert in the series read in big bold letters, "Dear Fat San Francisco, last year our guests and hosts brought in over $12 million to the city. Love Airbnb." This doesn't make you look like the good guys Airbnb. Whoever passed this off, it's a bit weird. Other follow-up messages in the enticing collection of ads suggested, "Dear public library system, we hope you use some of the $12 million in hotel taxes to keep the library open later. Love Airbnb. Dear parking enforcement, please use blah blah blah. Dear public works, love Airbnb, love Airbnb. F Airbnb." My thing with Airbnb, like, I see there's two companies, like Uber and Airbnb. Uber is also like, okay, well, they're not quite licensed, and I don't really know how it all works, and do taxi drivers have to pay something to some... So like the taxi drivers union or something like that. And it's like, yeah, and generally, but I'm for Uber, but I'm a little bit against Airbnb because... Dude, you're driving me insane, bro. But like Uber and Airbnb... Fuck, where was I? Lost my train of thought. How am I supposed to work in these conditions? My whole Airbnb, Uber and Airbnb thing, where the f was I? Yeah, Airbnb, I don't really like, and I think they should be more regulated. And Uber, I'm like, generally, because Uber, I have an always good experience with. They take me from A to B. It's nicer and it's cheaper than a taxi. Airbnb, I usually end up paying a lot. I end up staying in somewhere that's a bit than a hotel with less services. And also, I live in a city where Airbnb kind of it up. I live in Prague. Airbnb here is everywhere. The whole roof, like I live in an apartment building and the top apartments are always rented out and there's new people coming and going. I don't like it. Fuck Airbnb. Allegedly. And many consumers actually believed that the ads must have been some sort of satirical hoax and were later horrified to discover that they were actually completely genuine. Tone deaf, Airbnb. Airbnb seemed to be telling the citizens of San Francisco how grateful they should be that the company was actually doing something as noble as paying their taxes. Martha Kenny, an assistant professor at San Francisco State University, appeared to sum up the mood when she posted her response on Facebook. This is a page from a different script. I don't know how it got in here. What is going on? I'm lost. She posted a response on Facebook. "Dear Airbnb, I'm happy that you paid your taxes this year. I did too. Isn't it awesome?" She then went through a bit of number crunching to reveal that only a tiny fraction of hotel tax gets funneled through public libraries. So Airbnb's contribution would only be able to keep its libraries open for an extra minute or two in the very day. I'm just gonna have to shout. Following the universally negative response, Airbnb pulled the non-advertisements and offered a humble public apology. The intent was to show the hotel tax contribution from our hosts and guests, which is roughly $1 million. The intent was to show the hotel tax contribution from our hosts and guests, which is roughly $1 million per month. It was the wrong tone, and we apologize to anyone who was offended. These ads are being taken down immediately. But I think the CEO of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, came up with a better overview of the short-lived campaign. He said, it made us look like jerks. And he was right. I'm going to end it there because that is driving me insane. Check out Skillshare. Do me a favor. I mean, Skillshare is what makes these possible. It'll also make up, if you go subscribe, get that 2 months for free, it'll make up for all of the effort that I've put in today because that... Silence, infidel! Thank you for watching.
Silence! I kill you!
Would I? No, I love you. God, Business Blaze did get weird, didn't it?